Kia ora from Aotearoa, Poppy here. Yeah, really feel to share quite a few things, if not even to remind myself, like just to really remind myself of what's going on and you know, how to get through this time. Yeah, so like I've called this one how to respond to hopelessness, because you know, like often I think this is something that we can experience or feel at different times. There's certain things that are going on around us that can make things look really hopeless, you know, like there's all this pouring out of ticks all over the United States and things like that, and then we have to find ways that we can actually be with that, to not feel helpless or hopeless, but know that we can actually positively affect change at this time, and that miracles are possible with source. Yeah. Absence of source is always the artificial realm, so let's stay with source into the living, organic, beautiful realms. So no matter how hopeless things appear to be, there is a way through everything by the love of Creator. It is the love of Creator that is the way, and that's also what unites us. That's what that's the what connects all of our light together, all of us, all of our being. So it is love that nurtures life and cares and moves all into place through its frequency. The frequency of love surpasses all the lower frequencies that have us falling short of a consistent life of peace, harmony, freedom and joy. You know, you could even say that these lower frequencies of fear and shame and all of that, they all are an illusion. They're not the true essence of who we really are. Like, we've forgotten who we are, and remembering ourselves is so key at this time. So the artificial matrix has been run on human trafficking. This is, you know, what's been at the bottom of it, and this is why it's well worth listening to survivors of this who have miraculously made their way through it. There's many survivors now that are really speaking up about how to get free, what, you know, like, because they've actually had to experience it first time. Like, you know, they actually did have the experiences of feeling like they were being killed, or believing that they were going to be killed, perceived that we were going to be killed, tortured, all of those sorts of things. So we had to find a way through it, you know, like to remain alive today, which is quite a miracle. So I have only ever found my answers through my heart, where I am connected with Source, the Creator and Mother Earth. And I actually started a meditation practice and breathwork decades ago. And that's actually helped me to integrate things a lot faster when it's come to my healing now, because I remembered things a lot later in life than most people. And I wasn't free of things until a lot further on in my life. Well, you know, we're still finding our way out, actually. So it is miraculous that I'm still here against great odds, and it is due to love ultimately, which has the potential to believe in all things that free us. It is about belief. It is about perception. It's huge. It's massive, and it is miraculous. Yeah, so I have memories of being involved in torture and rituals where extreme fear was generated, and I remember seeing the thought forms or perceptions formed through my consciousness morph into forms of grotesque entities that people would call spirits or demons these days. And you know, unfortunately, I've had this sight, I've seen it a lot, and I've seen a lot of the negative stuff and not so much. I'm only, like, I really want to see that positive stuff too. Actually, I just realized I'm a little bit scared of seeing the positive things because I was punished for seeing them. Oh my gosh, that makes so much sense. Yeah, that's just come about. I have a dear friend and that I talk with, and yeah, this is so key. I find that what I write is, you know, it's a real living thing that's really happening. Yeah. So yeah, I had to see all the grotesque stuff and not so much the beautiful stuff, and now I really want to open up to the beautiful stuff. You know, like to see the the beautiful signs and communications that we find in nature and the elements and fire and water, all of those sorts of things. So I was constantly haunted by these forms as programs were activated, and through experiences such as night terrors, I discovered a remedy one day through practicing some interactive drawing therapy on myself. And as I recalled the feelings of being crowded in by these forms, which I used to be calling demons, I'm just calling them thought forms. It's just so much easier to comprehend, and it means that they don't take on such a scary form. They can be dealt with through change of perception more easily. So as I recalled the feelings of being crowded in by these forms, I could feel myself in absolute despair. I found that if I could muster up love from within my heart, I could blast through the heavy emotions, and that the forms would dissolve. In journey therapy, I would speak to the forms, and they would reveal the programs that were really untrue and illusionary, but were controlling my perceptions and mental output. So whenever we feel overwhelmed and fail to see a way through our challenges and obstacles, the pure love and light of Source is actually available for us to interact with, even if we feel locked in or buried in it. And this is why I want to go directly to Source, the true organic creator, and not any replication of that which a lot of people have relied on God, but they haven't actually been lifted right completely into Source and unconditional love. They're still with that God of good and evil. But we can all get through it right to Source, and that is within our being. We can do that. So even close to death and severe suffering, Source is there. Just consciously breathing a few breaths through the heart while focusing on love coming in and coming out with the breath will start to build positive intentions that then become new thought forms and energy that dissipates what was holding frequencies of fear, guilt, shame, suffering and despair, so that those things can be transformed back into wholeness, into love, into truth, really. It's the main way I have been able to detect the illusions and negative programming that have sought to keep me trapped. And this is an ongoing work in progress due to the extreme programming I endured as a child. And many of you that I know listen to this as well. These answers are only from inside of me or you, and because I only started to remember later in my life, my body was afflicted with a lot of disease and suffering because the programming in me was designed to attack and keep me small and disempowered. So all that negative thought form, like I was programmed to be really down on myself. My thoughts really created so much sickness in my body to the point of near death. I've had a heart attack, I've had all sorts of things that have been going on. However, with my direct connection with Source through my heart, I'm remembering more of who I really am and what I am capable of, and actually my health is coming back. I'm really, really focused on keeping my thoughts within love, my breath within love, in and out. So I know it's an art to do this, but instead of raging against the machine and the attacks coming from the cabal, etc., we may instead overwhelm it with all with emanating love from our hearts, knowing that it dissipates the energies and thought forms that keep us trapped and helpless. It's a time of great purging of thought forms. So every one of us who is doing this is doing it for everyone. And even though it may not look like it, our reality is becoming clearer and clearer, and we are able to discern life-giving truth more easily due to it. It can feel dense and thick and helpless or hopeless for a time, and we may just keep honoring and allowing every emotion that is a part of the illusion and breathing through it all, and it will transform into healthy perception again, which in turn co-creates health and is once again life affirming. So it does take courage to feel all of those emotions. Sometimes we can feel like we're getting lost in those emotions, but if we can simply observe all of those emotions as we breathe ourselves through them without fear, because fear of those emotions is an illusion, but if we can look at them in pure observation and we keep breathing and we keep breathing, we keep going through the layers, we will come out. It can take time. Sometimes it can take days. But it's trust and it's connection with Source, and the miracles will happen. Events in life will continue to show up what is void of love, and where we may fill those voids with love. We electromagnetically attract these experiences for transformation. It can feel brutal, and that's probably due to programming. Like sometimes it will come up and we'll think, oh my gosh, what have I done wrong? Okay, stop there. You've done nothing wrong. That's part of the illusion. So we are finding the illusions in our perceptions and our thoughts and our feelings and infusing it all with love. We may not see the way out, however, intentions from our perceptions generate the movement of energy that will take us through. So through our hearts we feel and observe without judging, but rather knowing that with Source Creator we co-create together with frequencies that surpass anything that is artificial and limiting. I feel that until enough of us learn the way of unconditional love, more suffering is generated from the anger, the frustration and helplessness felt in the absence of a Source connection. So our perceptions are co-creating constantly, and with love those perceptions change. Just like breath, we may take love in and grow it and breathe love out and affect the all with it. And that's so key. For so many survivors it was almost like we were just in this constant state of out-breath until we're absolutely depleted, because we didn't take that in-breath of unconditional love for us, because that was part of the trickery. So if you got that going on, just know that that is an illusion, and just breathe that love in, breathe that love from the Creator, and fill yourself up. You'll actually feel changes that can start to come into the body. Like just practicing it, it can come, especially when we hold the intention, and that's all that prayer is. It's intention. So whatever I feel helpless with, whatever I find despair in, whether it's loved ones or whatever, we always have something to do. We can always breathe love into it, into the whole field. And just like when we are sending love to, like I talked about, sending love to Madison Cups, who was taken from us, she receives that. Just that very thought will connect with her, because we are all fractals of Source, so we are all connected, and that love, it will connect and it makes the change for everyone. So much love to you all.